What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gamescast, now episode 102, topic 1. I'm Alex. This is our conversational gaming show, a show that airs every other week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, where I talk about random gaming topics. Now, in this video, I want to talk about when Star Wars Battlefront 3 is going to come out, or when is it actually going to release? Because, with next gen, and as we get closer and closer, next gen becomes more and more exciting, and more of something I assume we're going to talk about quite often on this show, and just in general on the channel. With next gen just brings a whole boatload, a literal boatload of new games that are just going to be flooded to our door. And I think if you scroll back a couple years ago, you would have assumed, just based off of not even based off like the track record of years in between these games, but I think you would have assumed that a Battlefront 3 would have probably released around 2020. We had Battlefront 1 come out in 2015. We had Battlefront 2 come out in 2017. And I really think the improvement and the jump of those two games were massive, even though there was not that much time in between them. And EA really works DICE down to the bone. Like they work extremely, extremely hard. And yeah, say what you want about their games, but at the same time, if you have to basically make a new AAA game every single year, and I mean that by alternating between the Battlefield games, you're probably going to have a tough time as well. So as it got closer, it's really become now where like this is definitely not a 2020 thing. This is a 2021, in my opinion. And I haven't seen any rumors, any talk about it. I think Battlefront 3 is coming out in the fall of 2021. Does it work? Does it make sense? Not necessarily, to be completely honest with you. It doesn't exactly make sense. You would think that they would have wanted it to line up with The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. I mean, if they wanted to do every other year, it would have actually come out this year. So that's what I was saying, the years already, I think the leap of assuming 2020 was that they would have to take 3 years. And that's, again, with a Battlefield game. But now you look at next generation next year, and to me, it's a slam dunk prediction that I think a new Battlefield game will come out for the next gen. I don't think EA can sit by and see Ubisoft release a new Assassin's Creed game, sit by and watch Activision come out with a new Call of Duty game, and have them be both. And again, they're all going to be dual. They're all going to be dual releases. I don't think you're going to see the Assassin's Creed exclusively on next gen. I don't think you're going to see Call of Duty exclusively on the next gen. They have a chance to sell to 150 million people now that have the PS4 and Xbox One, not even PC, not even including them, or you could sell it to the 20, 25 million that have the next gen within the first month. And so who are you going to sell it to? You'll probably sell it to both because, you'll need it to be next gen. Sony, Microsoft, all them, they'd want it, obviously, to be a next generation. So you would need that. Don't think that EA isn't sitting there and being like, well, we need a Battlefield game. They ship. And we can go down that rabbit hole of it'll do fine and it'll be a relatively solid game. It'll sell 7-8 million units. They'll rush DICE to do it. It'll probably be disappointing in some regards to the actual game. There'll probably be some microtransactions in there that people won't love, and the game will sell 8 to 10 million copies, and then EA will say, well, we wanted it to sell 15. That's generally how it goes, and it sucks, and what sucks more about it is they're also making a start, and that's honestly why, and if you look at it, I think the hints are written all over. They've stopped with, they've updated Battlefront 2, but remember, last year was just heroes and villains galore. Every couple months, we got those heroes and villains. I actually did tips and tricks for them. We live streamed every new hero and villain that came out. I thought they've done really good, and just the base game, they've improved it so much. But you look at really ever since Dooku and Anakin, they've had nothing. They've had, different kinds of troopers that they've added, different classes. They've added a few extra maps. They've added a few extra game modes. But for the most part, they're not doing anything. And you're going to see this next year, 2020, the support is going to be almost non-existent. And it's not going to be, I hope people don't freak out on them for that, because it's not really their fault, because because think about it. I think currently, DICE is huge, by the way, but I think currently their support, they have a couple people, I don't know how many, but they have some people working on Battlefront 2, just making sure everything is still working there, making sure there's updates every couple months, having the XP events and stuff like that. They have that. They have a team working on the next Battlefield game that's going to be a dual release that they've definitely probably rushed. And then they also are probably developing Star Wars Battlefront 3. And then as soon as Battlefield comes out next year, most of that team is going to move to Battlefront 3, and the big full-scale development of Battlefront 3 is going to happen within a year. That's what I truly think. I'm going to lay down that prediction. Battlefield next year, fall of 2020. Battlefront 3, fall of 2021. Now, what does that mean for Battlefront 3? Well, again, I think that means not the long, like, for it being when it comes out, you'll see, like, oh, man, it's been 4 years in between 2 and 3. And you'll be like, man, I wonder all the stuff they could add. I wouldn't, like, I think Battlefront 3 will actually be the best Battlefront game yet, but you have to keep your expectations kind of low, not because it's EA. I don't, I don't like saying that. But I think you have to keep your expectations low because DICE, the people that are actually making it, it's not like they've had 4 full years to work on it. They've been supporting Battlefront 2. They made the Battlefield last year. They're making the Battlefield next year, and then they're also making Battlefront 3. So it's not like they've just had 4 years. It's not like Naughty Dog going from Uncharted 4 to The Last of Us Part 2, which even they had like a second studio working on The Lost Legacy. But it's not like that where they had a full team working on the game for years. It's not like that. So I think that obviously that's going to kind of hurt it a little bit. But I think that's a pretty safe thing. Now, to the question that I kind of posed in the beginning, like, does it make sense? No, I actually really think it doesn't make sense at all for it to come out in the fall of 2021 because that's like a dead period for Star Wars. You look at where Star Wars is going, and this year we get The Rise of Skywalker. Next year, like Mandalorian will be going on. Clone Wars Season 7 will be going on. Obi-Wan gets filmed next year, but truth be told, it'll probably come out in 2021. So really, the only thing that's going to be happening in 2021 is Obi-Wan's show and possibly like Mandalorian Season 2 or 3 you'd expect probably in 2021. That is pretty much it for all of Star Wars. Now, and sure, they'll probably have other games. They'll probably make another Jedi Fallen Order game. So, like, Star Wars will still be around, but movie-wise, and we know the movies make $1 billion plus every single time, they've been going a little bit less and less with The Last Jedi, and we'll see what The Rise of Skywalker can do. But, they're guaranteed for $1 billion, and that's not, you can't write that off. You can't discount that. Years that Star Wars has a movie, yeah, it seems like The Rise of Skywalker has a lot of people that have, like, checked out and are like, nah, I'm not gonna, like, it's just nothing, something about it just feels off to me, or, like, I'm just not interested anymore. It does have that kind of feeling to it, but it's still a big year. And a year a Star Wars movie comes out is still a big year for merchandise. It's still a big year for toys and talk of Star Wars and just all that kind of stuff. And it's a big event. Still, Star Wars movies are a big event. Main Star Wars movies. We know, like, the Solo Star Wars movie was not a big event. But, so, like, they're missing out on that. And, yeah, like, Kevin Feige and D&D maybe with the Knights of the Old Republic movie, there could be a Star Wars movie in 2022, and then you could say, well, actually, would they want to push it? But it's like every year EA kind of, and now you could argue, like, this year they don't. But, like, for the most part, they do kind of want Battlefield Star Wars, like, back and forth. So, yeah, like, would it be under everybody's best interest to have Battlefield come out next year in 2020 and then give DICE 2 full years, and in the fall, in like November of 2022, release Battlefront 3, which would also coincide with probably the next wave of new Star Wars movies? Would that make sense? Yes, it would. But that's not how EA operates. That's not how they operate DICE. They're going to continue to push them, I think. Now, it would be a surprise if they didn't. And, I mean, I guess I would say my prediction would be wrong then. But I think that's the general landscape of where we're going. So I personally believe a Battlefront 3 will release in the fall of 2021. It should release in the fall of 2022. But that would be a big surprise if it actually happened. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this game is releasing 2021, 2022? What do you think about any of the stuff that I said? Battlefield as well. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching. Again, we will have a brand new topic for you for this Gamescast episode on Wednesday. I hope to see you guys all there.